a mutual sense of anger and frustration over Governor Carcieri's recent veto of the Domestic Partners Funeral Bill. And while anger and frustration are completely valid reactions, I would like to begin this evening by focusing on some positive points. Firstly, the bill, which would have given unmarried couples, gay and straight alike, the right to make funeral arrangements for their deceased partners, it was passed almost unanimously in the General Assembly by a vote of 63-1. Our elected legislative officials clearly recognize and are eager to correct this monumentally unjust legal shortcoming. Hopefully when they vote again in the new year, the Assembly will be able to overturn the governor's veto and give all Rhode Islanders the right to bury their dead. Secondly, Governor Carcieri's veto has inspired action from everyday Rhode Islanders. Tonight's vigil and funeral procession, it was organized not by an advocacy group or national organization. Rhode Islanders who, like yourselves, do not believe that the governor's moral agenda speaks for the people of our great state. Your presence here tonight is testimony not only to the power of grassroots organization, but to the enduring, fundamentally American tradition of standing up to the forces of injustice and inequality. Your presence here tonight is both an inspiration for all Rhode Islanders who are currently discriminated against by the law, as well as a clear message to Governor Carcieri. Moral railroading cannot and will not be tolerated by the people of this state. Right. Lastly, and to lighten this up a little bit, the governor's hateful words and actions have brought about national attention. Right, and while the circumstances of our state's exposure are certainly nothing to be proud of, I personally can't help but feel a sense of joyous satisfaction at the likes of Stephen Colbert shaming Governor Carcieri on national television. I guess you saw it too. Governor Carcieri, last week you were presented with a bill that would have dramatically eliminated an inequality felt by thousands of your fellow Rhode Islanders. You chose to kill that bill. Tonight, however, we present you not with the mangled, defeated corpse of a dream deferred, but with a greater hunger for progress and equality for every man and every woman in Rhode Island. I'd like to leave you this evening with some words from Tony Kushner's play Angels in America. Nothing's lost forever. In this world, there's a kind of painful progress, longing for what we've left behind and dreaming ahead. At least I think that's so. Thank you.
Roberts, please take a moment and speak.
Thank you. So it is a sad evening that brings us here to the steps of the State House. That we need to be here at all is a great disappointment, and for many families could be a tragedy. But I would like to echo the words of hope, and I want to recognize, actually, I saw one of my colleagues in government, Representative Gemma, is he still here? I want to recognize that almost every single member of the House and Senate supported this legislation. And as each of us contacts them in moments like this, but also personally, and lets them know how important it is that when they come back in January, the first thing they do is override this veto, there is no question that they will hear those words. So it is deeply discouraging, and I would say it was a cruel act on the governor's part to veto this bill. No family, no person should have to deal with the tragedy and loss of someone they love and not be able to bury that person. That is just wrong. And I think you have heard all kinds of Rhode Islanders speak up, and you see all kinds of Rhode Islanders here tonight saying that is wrong. So I am proud to be here with you all, I, from my part, have written to both the House and Senate leadership saying how very important I think it is to override this veto, and I know that they are hearing that message. Let's not let that message disappear before January so that this can become the law for every single person in our state. Thank you.
My name is Stacy. I spoke with Representative Ferri yesterday. He unfortunately finds himself out of state, but did send over a letter that he has sent over to the governor November 11th, the day after the veto, and asked me to read it for him. Dear Governor Carcieri, I write on behalf of the thousands of LGBT Rhode Islanders who you continue to persecute by governing according to your personal and religious beliefs. Your veto of Senate Bill 0195 and House Bill 5294, which sought to instill a modicum of dignity for all Rhode Islanders at a time of extreme hardship for anyone, the death of a loved one, can only be described as an act of cruelty. The ability to provide the final wishes of a departed partner is a matter of civil rights, and it is unfortunate you have allowed your religious beliefs to once again cloud your judgment. I remind you as governor, you represent all the people of Rhode Island, not just those who subscribe to the views of the Catholic Church. Your consistent demonizing of the LGBT community will truly be a blemish on your tenure as governor. I think it is also time to remind you of a simple concept the Founding Fathers believed in, the separation of church and state.
Thank you.
There have been many in the history of our country and state with deep religious commitment who understand their beliefs should not interfere with the rights of fellow citizens. Rhode Islanders would be far better served if you spent your last year in office governing with this simple but essential concept in mind. Your role to judge the significance of relationships or commitments between two individuals. It is not your role to judge the significance of relationships or commitments between two individuals. Believing you have a voice in this matter speaks volumes to the level of arrogance you bring to this debate.
Nice.
Certainly, it is beyond the scope of your authority to call into question the level of love, compassion, and dedication between two people, regardless of the length of time they have been in a relationship with one another. The suggestion that your veto is in some way tied to the ongoing discussion of marriage equality is especially disturbing. This bill has no effect whatsoever on the definition of marriage. Instead, it seeks to extend some measure of relief in an incredibly emotional time. Was the pain and suffering endured by Mark Goldberg as he attempted to secure the release of the remains of his partner of 17 years any less cruel because they were of the same sex? To suggest all Rhode Islanders should not have the same right is nothing less than bigotry.